After modeling and rigging your character, it should look like this. And let's see here. All right, so let me just do some maintenance here. Go to object mode. I think I have an extra empty here. Let me get rid of that. And then we have our lights and camera. We don't need to see those right now, so we're just going to turn those off. I'm in the material preview with the lights and camera being off. It should, should look like this when it comes to the rendered part. Okay, and let's switch right here to Eevee. All right, and then all right, we're good to go. So we can animate this. So the plan today is to animate this as a walk cycle, meaning it's like walking on a treadmill. It's walking in place. Then we can add it to a path so it can walk forward, or we can animate the background so it looks like it's walking forward. So several ways to do it. All right, so and this is a very simplified rig. It's designed for learning IK and FK at an early stage. Okay, it's fully IK. This is let's just look at all the controllers that we'll be animating. Okay, so this is the left leg controller. Okay, we're gonna put it here so you get to see the name on the bone. So the controllers are what we're moving to animate. Right leg controller. Okay, so let me pose this, give it a kind of like an extreme pose right here. All right, this one controls the knee, so that's a left knee controller. That's a right knee controller. This one is the left arm controller. Okay, so they can, and this is inverse kinematics. So you can see we're moving one controller. It's controlling the entire arm right there. Okay, as opposed to if it's forward kinematics, we have to move those manually each time. This is the elbow controller. It rotates that. Okay, and depending on the angle, you'll have extreme positions on this one. All right, and then the right arm controller, and this one is the right arm controller. So very simplified. So far we got 1, 2, 3, 4 for all the limbs, and then 8 plus 4 controllers for the knee and the elbow. Okay, and then we have our hip controller right here, or the upper body controller. Okay, and then finally the all body control. This is a character controller. So if you move this, okay, so if you want to animate this guy jump, let's say you do a little anticipation jump like this, and then when you launch like that, okay, then this is the one that you need to animate for it to land. Then oops, this is there's my lower body. There it is. Then you can kind of anticipate that, and it kind of like this. So, okay, all right, so that's that controller. All right, so let me reset it. Okay, so I'm gonna press while I'm in pose mode. Okay, so again, it's you access that bone by selecting pose object mode, select the rig, then pose mode. I'm gonna press A to select all, then Alt G to reset it back. Okay, goes back in here. All right, so typically for a walk cycle like this, I mean the animation is set for both IK for both arms and legs, but it would be a lot easier for us to animate this using forward kinematics from the top. Okay, so IK here at the bottom, then forward kinematics here. So at this stage, I do want you to save this so that you're at the stage where this is still all IK, right? So we're about to get rid of the IK for the top here. So we're going to do forward kinematics to animate the upper body, okay? So again, the lesson gave you IK controls for everything. This one we're going to alter it. So as soon as I'm done deleting all this stuff here, we need to save it as a different name so it doesn't, so you still keep your IK rig, okay? So I don't need any of this controller, the arms and the elbow, for the if we're going to change this to forward kinematics. I know we can do a switch where you can just switch IK and FK, but this will simplify our lesson here where you don't see any of these floating controllers in here. Okay, so I'm going to press X. I'm going to do that in edit mode, sorry. No, what am I missing here? Oh, it's just the preview. Okay, so you can actually, yeah, they're not turning yellow because of the bone sticks that we did here. So I'm gonna select that and then press delete bone. Okay, be careful which one. So the other controller right there, select it, delete the bone, and then these are the elbows, delete the bone. All right, so now we don't have any of those. The IK is still there, so let me go to post mode. Okay, that's the only way you can access the IK. So the IKs are at the ends right here. As you can see, when we go to our bone constraint right here, you'll see that the IK is applied. And on this one, it's not, right? So it's only at the end right there. So we just simply hit X. And then this one right here. So now there's no more IK for the top body. So it still follows, but in order for you to animate this, you have to do traditional rotation and then rotation like so, and then rotate that. Okay, which is fine because it's kind of, we just want kind of like a simple movement like that when we animate the walk cycle. Okay, so I'm gonna press A again, Alt G resets it back to oops. Oh, sorry, it resets it back to if for the IK. Okay, but for the top you gotta click undo. Okay, because this is now forward kinematics. It will not reset it to the original post position. Okay, so remember, when you do any experimentation at the top, it's no longer the same as the Alt G, Alt R, because oh yeah, what am I because it's rotation. Okay, because remember when we were moving this before with IK, it's just movement, it's all G, there's no R. But now if you rotate this, okay, when you do Alt R, that will reset it. Okay, no more Alt G only, because you are now rotating this. Okay, so let's get our character ready here. So I'm going to right click here, I'm going to position my mouse right here, then right click until you see a vertical split. I'm going to drag it here. The reason for this is you want at least a couple of this in order to, and I'm on layout. Okay, you can do animate tab, you know, it's up to you how you want to do this one. So I'm going to erase this a bit so we see a little bit of our timeline here. All right, and then we're also going to add another one, so we get to see another window right here. So I'm going to right click here on top, and I'm going to do a horizontal split and drag it right here. Okay, so here we want to see, let's say, the front. Okay, so I'm going to hit tilde, front, and then here I'm going to hit tilde again. We're going to go here, top, and then here, let me move that. We don't need much for the top. Here, tilde, we're going to see the left, or the right, sorry. right side. There we go, because we're gonna cycle it this way. All right, so by doing this, then we get to see all this kind of flat angles, so we can easily see our character. And then here I'll be using, let's say, the y-axis right here as our floor. Okay, all right, and then here we see it on the red, which is the x. Okay, so now we are ready to animate. And to do this, we will be even simplify the process, we will be using auto keyframe. So auto keyframes everything that you do. So you got to be super careful with this. If you realize you made some mistake, make sure you do undo, and then so you can go back to that one. All right, so now this is the IK and FK setup. I will save this as a different name, so I'm going to call this one TumTum FK IK rig. Okay, save as. So now I still have the original TumTum that has all the IK setup. And then if I want to use that for some other animation, like if you want this guy to do some, let's say, push-ups, that's an IK for the upper body. Okay, so, and that's typically how rigs are. You have multiple setups of them because they can't all do the same thing. Okay, so now that we established that this is the forward kinematics, inverse kinematic setup, we can start our animation. Okay, I'm also going to zoom in on our frame here, because we're not going to be animating a whole lot of frames. We're just going to cycle it. Okay, so I want to make sure that our playhead is on 1. Okay, and we're going to start with our auto keyframe. Okay, so I'm going to turn that on, so whatever I do here gets keyframed. All right, so let's start with our well, let me turn that off for now. So let's do some body kind of testing right here. So if we look at the hip right here and do a rotation, okay, I'm going to rotate at the top. I'm just going to press R. So you can see it can twist the body from the hip. If we select our torso right here and I rotate it here at the top, it can do that rotation. So kind of pivotal controllers for our walk to make it behave a little bit proper. Okay, so let me go back here till the right. Okay, and I'll be selecting, oh, I forgot to delete this. No, yeah, I need this. It's for IK. All right, so I want to make sure that I'm selecting the right controller right here. So that would be the left leg. So we want the left leg. Let's lower the body first. So let's lower the body. So I'm just going to press G. Okay, because we have to start and give it like a starting walk position. All right, so I don't know if that's good. We'll work with that for now. All right, so we're going to walk this one with the left leg being forward. Okay, so all right, right there probably. Okay, as you can see, I'm landing it right here. Okay, I'm landing it right there, and that's our floor. Okay, but before that, I forgot one thing crucial. Let me click undo, turn on auto keying. Okay, so now this is going to be keyed. As you can see, if I move this, there it is, it's keyed already. So before, traditionally when we animate, we set our sidebar and then we pick. Okay, this one just keys everything, which is fine because it's just a walk cycle. All right, I'm gonna select the left leg, and I'm selecting at the top, because here, if you select it here, you could select, as you can see, I'm just clicking right here. You see the selection of the top viewport, it's switching back and forth. But here, if you have the top viewport, you click the left controller, you know for sure you got the left controller selected, because that's your guide right there. So I'm gonna move this one like so. Okay, and I want to zoom in. I want to make sure that that's on the floor. I'm gonna select this one. All right, okay, so very stylized walks you can see right here. Okay, or maybe numpad 3 just takes me to like till the end, right? Okay, that's all it did. Maybe we can move this up a bit. Maybe that's way too low for the first position. All right, so something like that maybe. And because it's auto key, it just rekeys the previous one. So, okay, it automatically bypasses it. All right, so we're just gonna work on the legs first, and then we build up the animation from there. Okay, so to make this simple, because we can always reframe this later, retime it, I'm just going to do this every 10 frames, so it's easier for you guys to kind of follow, and you can offset that so that the walk does not look kind of mechanical and very static. Okay, but for lessons purpose, it's easier for you guys to follow if I just do increments of 10. Okay, all right, so and the idea here for it to become a walk cycle is that this is the first left leg forward, and then we're going to switch. It's going to be the right leg forward and then switch to left leg. So once we're able to repeat the left leg after a right leg, then it's a cycle. We can just keep copying it. Okay, so everything that we need keyframe right here is now keyframe on the lower part. So we just keyframe the body controller, the right leg and the left leg. Okay, and then that's it. So then we'll build up the animation from there. Okay, so now we're going to go to our frame 10. So our frame 10 right here, we want well, it all depends on how fast you want it to move and whatnot. So here I can go on frame 10, we can go to our kind of passing position. Okay, passing position. So here we want, this is the highest point for the body. So on frame 10, I'm going to move this up for now. Okay, so you can see I'm just kind of staying it in place because we're not moving back and forth here. It's a walk cycle, so I'm just going to move this up a little bit like so. And then this one, we're going to move it here in the center right here. And then we'll move the body up. Okay, right there. And then this one would be kind of passing, as you can see right there. Okay, and then we can straighten this a little bit more, and we can do other types of walk. But the position of the tum-tum is basically spaced out like this. If you've seen Spy Kids, they're very exaggerated. Okay, but you can see right there, kind of like a passing position. Okay, and the highest point for this one. So if I scrub this, there it is. All right, so now we go to frame 20. Okay, there's two things here we want constant. Is that if we want, let's say, the body right there to go back down as if it's on frame 1, then we can just simply copy that and move it to frame 20. Then it'll drop. So, or if you want it a little bit more organic, you can definitely drop this and then position those legs if you want to. But we're going to simplify this, so we're just going to select the first frame right there with the body controller, upper body. Okay, and then Shift D, grab this all the way to 20. As you can see, it copied the frame. It just down, up, down. Okay, all right, so for this one, we're going to grab we're on frame 20 now. We're going to grab this. Okay, and we're going to move this back. Okay, grab that, move that kind of forward. Okay, since it's auto keyframe, that's all keyframe now, as you can see. All right, we just have to probably add some frames in between so that it doesn't, or kind of fix that orientation right there. Let me see. Okay, right there. Okay. Or here we can also make adjustments on this one. I can go like that a bit. So even though we copied that, we can still kind of move it so that it's not exactly the same because we're not cycling yet. Okay, there we go. And then here, you know, later on you can fix that, so you can animate it kind of, you know, so that it's on the ground right there. but we'll do those later. Okay, so this is just kind of like the basics. So I got 1, 10, then 20. Then we're gonna do 30. It's gonna be the passing one. So remember the figure 4 is the right leg. Now figure 4 for 30 would be the left leg. So here we go to frame 30. Okay, and on frame 10, what is our frame 10? The highest point for the body. All right, so we can just copy frame 10 for the body, Shift D, take it all the way to 30 right there. So when we're on 30, it's up already. Okay, and let's scrub it. All right, so this guy here needs to go in here because it's highest point, and you want to bend that knee a bit right there. Okay, so let's just kind of check the other ones from before. Highest point, there it is. So I'm just kind of looking at this graph right here as my guide. That's the center. Okay, on 30. Okay, so it's a little bit back right here. On that one, it's a little bit forward. Okay, and then this one on frame 30, that's the passing one. So we just, okay, so let's take a look. All right, so we now have, okay, we're close. So now this one, the left leg, right? Remember, the left leg position on here, it's forward, and here it's about to go forward. So all I have to do is position that back exactly on 1. So if I go to 40, 1 and 40 for this leg should be the same, hence the cycle. So it looks like it's a continuous loop, right? So I'm just going to go here, Shift D, drag this all the way to 40. Okay, right there. Okay, it doesn't look like it's touching because we got to copy also the body on 1, Shift D, all the way to 40, because that's when it's, okay, so 1 and 40 should be exactly the same. And then this back leg, you guessed it, we're going to copy 1 all the way to 40. There it is. So now if I scrub this, it just kind of repeats itself. And we gonna cycle this, so everything is going to be cyclable in 40 frames. All right, so there's that. Now we can work on the other parts. Okay, so our we can play this. I'm just going to put it on 40 right here, so you see the cycle. Okay, or 39, sorry, not 40, so that we don't have that repeat. Okay, so we'll take a look right here. All right, there it is. This is leisure walk, and then of course you can select all this later, and then you can scale it. If you put that timeline at the beginning, you scale it, you can make the walk faster, right? Well, it only works up to there because we didn't select everything. All right, undo all that. Let me press A. Okay, that selects everything, and then we can scale now. We can also go A right here. We can scale it now, and then it'll just make a faster walk. All right, so not a run, just a fast walk, because a run, it's a totally different position. So let me undo that. I just want to show you that while we're doing this every 10 frame increment, you can still retime it. Okay, all right, so now what can we do with the other parts? So let's see right here. So let's position the body now. I'm in the arms. Okay, so for this one, we're on frame 1. Remember, 10 frame increments for everything, and then we have auto keying on. So I'm gonna just go like this for now here, and press R to rotate this, and it'll auto keyframe this. All right, right there. Okay, and then we're going to rotate this also. All right, and then we're going to rotate the elbow so that it's bent like so, and then this one as well. All right, the only thing here is that when you do walk, it's always the opposite leg, right? I mean, the arm and the legs are opposite. So if left leg is forward, okay, then expect the left arm to be on the opposite side. Okay, you don't want this kind of like those World War II soldiers where, you know, their left leg and their right arm are moving in unison, which is really a sight to see. Okay, and then the right leg is back. That means the right arm is forward. All right, okay, so let's play our animation here. As you can see here, it looks like it's on an attack mode. All right, so we'll do that animation now. Okay, so we just position it the opposite. Okay, and then we're gonna keep building on this. Okay, so we'll just do the basics right now. So when we go to frame 10, not much to do there. Okay, frame 20, we just gotta rotate this. Okay, the opposite way. All right, so right here, that arm shouldn't needs to swing the opposite way. Okay, and then this one needs to go that way. All right, and then you guessed it, on if I go here on 1 and 40 should be the same. That will create our cycle. So Shift D all the way to 40, and then that one all the way to 40. If I play this, there's that, the opposite. Okay, and if you want to add more kind of flavor to this, we can start with this one as well. You can kind of, so it's not so static, you can add a little bit of up and down movement from it. Okay, so we can go, let's say on this one, on frame 1, rotate that a little bit low. All right, right there. Rotate that a little bit low right there. Okay, so that when we go to frame 20, you can rotate it up a little bit, that one, curve it a little bit, and then of course 1 right there, Shift D all the way to 40, copy 1, Shift D all the way to 40. It just kind of gives it a little bit of an extra arm movement right there where it can go up a little bit, but it's totally up to you how you want it. So it's just not so kind of static. We can't really appreciate that yet because we're not doing any of the other fun stuff first. Okay, all right, another thing we can do is that we can rotate the arm like this a little bit down, and then on this one as well. Maybe at the top. All right, let me redo that. It's easier to do it right here. Let me wait for my screencast to go away. Okay, right there on frame 1, we can rotate it going like that. We can rotate down going like that. Okay, so now right here, since that's a new kind of rotation, it kind of keeps it. Okay, here we can go just a little bit. Okay, and then we can overwrite that, of course, if we just select that key, Shift D it, drag it all the way to 40 to overwrite the previous one. Select that, Shift D, overwrite 40, and then when we, there we go. All right, so it's a little bit more close, so it's not too wide on the arms. Okay, if you want it even closer, of course, it's totally up to you. You can definitely animate this a lot closer like this to the body. Okay, but we're kind of exaggerating the walk here with the spread stance. Okay, so now what else can we do with this one? We can definitely do the hip. Okay, let's select the hip, and I'm on frame 1, and the hip right here, if I rotate it from the top, there's that kind of rotation that it gives. Okay, so if we're going to animate the hip right here, let's give it a little bit of body pose first. Okay, let's give it a little rotation on the body. So for this one, it's walking forward. You know, we can rotate it a little bit going forward like so. Okay, a little bit of an angle. Okay, and then when it goes to the highest position, which is 10, we can animate that going straight a little bit. Okay, then we go 20. We want to move that forward a little bit. 30, highest position, rotate that up a little bit. And then of course 1 right here, we shift D, we want to copy it all the way to 40 so that it just returns that. Okay, so we just gave it a little bit of a little body animation there going forward. Okay, let's look at the torso, this one right here. So when it's going this way, we can rotate this, kind of maybe bend it a little bit more like so. Okay, on 1, and then we go to 10. Of course, we want a little bit of that. 20, a little bit of bend forward. 30, a little bit of straightening. Then 1 with the torso selected, shift D all the way to 40. And all right, so we added another element to the walk. Okay, so let's go back to frame 1. Let's add hip movement right now. So when you're walking like this, you want that rotating a little bit with the hip. So you want this lunging a little bit. So here you want to press R to rotate, and you just want to slightly turn the body a little bit like so. Okay, so let me go back to 3 here so you could see it flat. We're on frame 1. Okay, we're going to start it with a slight rotation, just a slight rotation on the body, and we're animating the hip right here. All right, and then when we go to frame 10, we don't need to worry about that. On frame 20, it's the opposite, so we just rotate it this way, just a little bit. Okay, and we now know we want it to go back the same on 40. So we didn't do anything on 10 and 30. We just animating 1, 10, and 40. So we're going to select that, shift D it, copy it all the way to 40. All right, so now we have a animation of the hip. Okay, with the hip rotation right there. Okay, so the torso, however, does the opposite of that. All right, so we did the let's see, select the hip. This is what we did before, kind of rotated it like so right there. Oh, I think I did the opposite. Yep, I got confused. All right. That's for the torso animation. All right, let's go back to the hip. So I animated going to, it should go like that because it's leg forward. Oh, what a blunder. All right, so let's do that again. So select the hip right here, and instead of doing it this way, you gotta rotate it this way. Okay, so the body goes forward a bit like so. Okay, because the leg, oh man, I got confused there. All right, right there, and on 20, it's the opposite. So we want the body now to kind of shift that way. Okay, because it's lunging forward with the leg. Okay, then we want this one right here, shift D to 40. Okay, all right, now we're man, what a blunder. Okay, so now let me do this one, the upper body. So now it's the opposite. On frame 1, the body lunged forward. Now it needs to correct itself, so it will rotate that way. Okay, so just kind of flatten the just not flat, but just kind of move it a little bit so that it's twisting. Okay, again, we're exaggerating this one. All right, and then we go to 20. As you can see here, it's quite extreme on the, we're just gonna go like so. That's the forward, I mean straight. And we're just gonna twist that a little bit, just a little bit right there, so that there's shoulder swing. Okay, and then of course we take our frame one, duplicate it, go all the way to 40. All right, so now let's take a look. All right, so now it's a little bit more expressive than before. All right, the only problem now is that the head is turning nonstop. Okay, it needs to be looking straight. Okay, all right, so let's go back to frame one. Select the neck. And on this one, we want it facing kind of forward. So I'm going to go here and press R. All right, just kind of eyeballing it that it's looking straight. Okay. And then we go to frame 10. We're going to make it look straight. Frame 20. Make it look straight. Frame 30. Make it look straight. And of course, select only frame one, Shift D, drag it all the way to 40. All right, so there's that. What else can we do? The head, most likely we want it not kind of facing forward. Okay, I'm going to frame one here, select the head right here, and just kind of rotate it so that it's, there we go. Give it just a slight angle. Let's go to frame 10, rotate it back. Okay, frame 20, frame 30, and then of course deselect everything, just select frame 1, Shift D it all the way to 40. All right, so there's our walk forward. Okay, so okay, and then we can cycle the whole thing, because right now we're just watching up to 40, 39. All right, so I can go 250 right here. Okay, let's take a look. Let's go to our graph editor. Okay, I'm gonna press A to select everything, and then we can just do Shift E right here and then make cyclic. So it just walks forever, as long as you're happy with the speed. All right, so we can make this walk a little bit faster before you do the cycle. Okay, and let me undo, remove the cyclic. Okay, let's go back to the dope sheet. So if I have everything, press A selected here and then A selected here. All right, and then you can make the walk slower by first position your cursor to the first one, scale it. You can make the walk super slow. So I'm going to go to 80 right there. So it's a slow walk. If I go the other way, I'm going to move that to 1 first, then scale all the way till 20. Okay, so that gave it that faster kind of walk. All right, once you're happy with whatever that is, speed, then you can switch to graph editor. Press A to select everything, Shift E to set the make cyclic. So now there's the walk. It's a little bit of brisk walk, not a run, but a brisk walk. Okay, but I think I like the this 40 for now, because it's slower, but you can still kind of see the mechanics of it, and then you can definitely time. Maybe I can time this one 30 maybe. Okay, select all those, then scale Instead of 20, I'm gonna go 30. I think that's a good speed right there. And let's make, all right there. So now it's on frame 30, okay? And the reason why we did 40 is because of that 10 frame increment. And then you can, of course, move this guys around right here on, you can make one step faster than the other, okay? All right, so what else can we do with this one to kind of simulate that it's walking forward? We can create an object, okay? Let's put a kind of like a fence. Let's model something here. Let me go back to object mode, okay? And let's create, it's got a cube, okay? And then on this cube I will scale it so that it's kind of thin. All right, and then we'll do edit mode. I'm just going to do a Control R. Isolate that. Control R, so it's split right here. Again, this is the side. Okay. I'm gonna go to X-ray mode and then wireframe mode so we can see it. And right here, I'm going to select just here. Let's move this up so that it's on the floor. Okay, and I'm gonna press / so that you see it, and so we can see how tall we need it. Probably right there. Okay, and then we're gonna go select those two. It's kind of like a picket fence. All right, so now we go to our, this one is kind of done. Okay, then we can just move this guy probably right here. Okay, then we're going to set it here so it's kind of like there's a fence right there. Okay, we're gonna go to our modifier. Okay, we're gonna add a modifier called array. An array is something that can increase the count on this one. Okay, so right now it's very close to the other, as you can see right there, and we don't want it on the X, we want it on the Y. So I'm gonna put 0 here on the X, we want it on the Y, so I'm gonna put 1. Okay, there it is. And it looks like we need it to go the other way right there. So I'm gonna go maybe -0.1.8, and we can increase, we can kind of increase that one right there. Let's see if this is not gonna, and you need a lot of this, so maybe that much. Remember, we're animating 250 frames, right? 250 frames. So we just want this thing moving. Let's see if I did that correctly. If we have our character walking like so. Okay, we want this to move back, right? So on this one, we're gonna animate it. We still have on our auto keyframe right here, so we'll just move this a little bit. Okay, and then on one, and then when we go to 250, we move this one, and depending on how fast you move this, it's gonna dictate the walk on your character. All right, I think that's good right there, but let me move it right here so it's well, our camera will decide on that one anyway. So let's take a look at our camera. Let's switch this to our camera mode. So I'm gonna press tilde. Oh, what am I doing? There's the camera right there. All right, right here, and we're probably gonna press N, view, lock camera. All right, so that when we click on camera, we can, all right, so you probably want to frame it like so, where, yeah, that one. There we go. Okay. So it looks like our, oops, there we go. Okay, depending on how fast you move that fence, that's kind of like the illusion of speed. All right, and then we want to do something with this fence right here from your previous lesson. We got to go to our graph editor, and we want to select just that one right there. Let's tilde frame all, and we only need the y-axis, right? So select those y-axis, the green one. Okay, press V and then make it vector, so it's a constant speed. It doesn't accelerate or decelerate. It's just a kind of like a little optical illusion for, oh, and you know what, I have auto keyframe on, and then the camera got auto keyframed. So let's stop this real quick. Let's go select the camera, go back to dope sheet. That's the danger of auto keyframing, when you forget. I'm gonna go to frame 1 on the camera, and then I'm just gonna select all this other key and press delete keyframe, delete keyframe. Okay, maybe zoom out here a bit. Okay, too much. Back to frame 1, because I don't want to keep animating that camera by accident. Pan just a bit right there. It's probably still too close. All right, there it is. Okay, so this is your homework, and you'll be using your character. So if your character is missing some weight painting or has some other issues, you got to correct that. And then the beginning of the lesson, we made this character as forward kinematics on the upper body. You're going to have to delete those controllers and the IK controller within the bone and post mode. It's all shown in the first part of the lesson. So okay, so good luck animating. Go to virtual lab for help.